Oh. Okay, we are going to begin our August 12th Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. We do not have a quorum tonight, so therefore we will fast forward through our agenda, and I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So do we have to do a roll call? Nope. Okay. Then I'd like to go right straight to citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? Nope. Okay. How about division reports? Parks?
Yep. Thank you. Just a couple things. Wanted to let everybody know that the LED lighting project at Ozzie is complete. So they finished that probably about a week after the July Parks Board meeting. So everything out there is running absolutely awesome. So with that, we also, staff completed some asphalt repair at Carshield Field in the parking lot, getting ready for the overlay, which is scheduled for August 18th. Also, staff hosted the Triple Crown Ladies Softball Championship Tournament, which is a week-long tournament at Ozzie after the 4th of July. The tournament director, the coaches, the umpires, parents, players, they were extremely complimentary of the staff and the way the fields look and everything like that. So I wanted to thank staff for their hard work on that tournament. Also, the cricket field at Sports Park is closed now for the year. We will be relocating the pitch area and moving it more to the south, and then we'll be adding a second field. So by spring of next year, we will have 2 cricket fields now. So,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were adding another one. That's cool.
Yeah. And then just a reminder that Sports Park fields 1, 2, and 3, 6 through 12 are all closed for summer maintenance. Fields 4 and 5 will remain open. All of the fields will open by the end of the month, though. We'll be complete with those repairs by the end of August. At Dames Park, Field 2 is closed for the remainder of summer for field maintenance. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank all of the staff for their hard work and dedication. As you know, the last couple of weeks have been extremely, extremely hot. But, you know, staff continues to push forward to provide the residents the safety and just beautiful parks. So I do want to just take a moment to thank each one of those employees that have actually had to sit out there and endure the hot weather. Other than that, the rest of my report is in the agenda, so with that, I'll take any questions.
I have a question. You said you had, with the you had comments from a tournament that you had out there about the staff, how well they were treated, how well the staff treated the people there. Is there a way you can take that information and post it on the internet for that field so that people, citizens, other people can see what people think of how they're treated? It could be something to attract additional tournaments there, just have some reviews of that and how well things go.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely reach out to our communications department and have them post those things. So a lot of the times when we get letters like that, we'll pass it on to their supervisors. So it does get down the chain, but we can definitely post those comments and stuff online as well. We can look into doing that.
That'd be nice. I want to just piggyback on what you were saying about your staff, thanking your staff for all their hard work, because we did have some really terrible hot days all in a row, many all in a row. And I'm in the parks all the time, and I noticed that there was very little difference in the conditions of the park. A lot of times during heat waves, things start looking kind of limp and bad and dry and, not so green. And it really hasn't done that in the parks. I have not noticed any of the parks looking that way, so I was very impressed. And it has to be because everybody's really working hard to keep up on that. And I know it's difficult to be out there in the weather. So I agree with you. They've done a really good job.
Had another question, just as a follow-up. Your folks were going to be putting together or identifying plants in each of the parks, so to help people understand or identify for themselves how nice these plants are. Maybe they can use those themselves. Has that? Last time I looked on the website, I didn't see that yet.
It has not. Myself and Bob Dearduff, the landscape superintendent, we are still working through that. There's a lot of logistics that goes with that, with not even just putting the plan together, but then also getting it to our communications department so they can actually put that into the website. So I just want to make sure we gather all of the information to make sure it's going to work properly. So it just going to take some time. So hopefully maybe by the end of the year, we could have it up and going and then have a good feel of how it's going to work. And then by spring, it will show the new, in 2026, of all the new plantings.
I didn't expect that to be easy. That sounds like a good timetable, so.
But yes, we are continuing to work on that.
The gardens look really good, too. I was driving by yesterday over by the depot, and the flowers still look good. Everything looks good. Every place I've looked, they all, for a while it was like slow coming to fruition, and now all of a sudden everything's looking really good. So good job, Bob. All right, anything else? Recreation report?
Thank you, Teresa. Last week was our last week of summer camp, so it's very quiet around the Renaud Center.
Good.
We had some issues with camp, but really overall it was very successful. Staff did an excellent job. We served a lot of kids through camp. Registration for Fall Civic Dance is open. Classes begin on September 8th. There's a Missouri Parks and Recreation Association Camp Summit in September, and Amy Jordan will be leading that camp, so that's kind of exciting. The reservations team provided 18 tours in July. In spite of the reduced tour times because of summer camp, we still got those 18 in. O'Day Lodge currently has 38 rentals for 2026, and we're already getting inquiries for 2027. So swim team had their last meet of the season. Everything seemed to go really well. We had a lot more kids than we have in the past. We had a very successful season. Mermaid and Mates boat races were in July, and we had good attendance for that. We've worked out a way that we are now offering concessions for after-hour events at Alligators Creek. So that's something new we're able to provide. We're working on a survey to send to parents to get feedbacks for birthday parties. Birthday parties have had a steady increase here in the past year, so that's not only at Renaud but also at Alligators Creek. We had 19 people sign up for the trip to the Muni to see Jersey Boys. That'll be closing here soon. We're adding 4 to 6 additional part-time staff at the front desk to help out. Registration for fall soccer and t-ball and coach pitch is now open. The fitness department hired 3 new team members. They'll be taking over for some of the kids that are heading off to college. Our personal trainers are very busy. We've had a steady flow of training sessions and an increase in weight room orientation requests from new members. So we'll be adding a new trainer to the staff. And we've spent the month, fitness staff has spent the month providing members with hydration tips and strategies for exercise and recovery in extreme heat conditions. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Craig about the Renaud Center? I've been spending a lot of time at the Renaud Center lately. And
We've noticed.
oh, yeah. I'll tell you, that camp, It's crazy, those kids. It's crazy. And I've been going to these classes, and a lot of seniors, and all they do is complain about the noise. Because it is really, these kids are having a great time. They are having so much fun. It's really fun to watch, actually. And the parents look like they're actually enjoying themselves. So I don't mind it at all, but some of the seniors are starting to say, God, when is this going to end? Because there's just so many of them. So yeah, it's really nuts down there during that period of time. But I'm glad to see all the kids having a good time. They're just really loud. God. All right, so how about moving on to the tourism and festival reports?
Okay. Heritage and Freedom Fest recap. It was a hot 4 days. A lot of you know that firsthand. Some of the highlights is the glass blowing. I think that was well received. We had a dino encounter. I don't know if you heard, but we had the NASCAR simulation set up. They were in a car accident on the way down there. Jennifer has enough connections that she started calling, and we got a dino encounter to cover for them. So that was a little disappointing, but we're thrilled to have dino encounter. I think that was well received as well. Police dunk tank, that's been kind of a thing in the past few years, and people love it. Parade balloons, we're actually featured on Channel 2 and Channel 4 News. Keith knows all about the parade balloons. Appreciate him helping out. The carnival, I've got a lot of numbers to show, but basically on-site sales, we had 129,547. And then, let's see, we had Neon Trees, of course, on July 4th, Gabby Baird on July 5th. Tiger Lily Gold setup, Gabby Barrett on the 5th. Placer data, Placer ID is the software I was talking about. The numbers aren't exactly what we thought they would be, but I'll go through a couple of these. They said that the average stay was 2 hours. Arrival time increase was from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. 40% of the attendees are from the St. Peter's O'Fallon area. And 6% are tourists. I'm not sure exactly what actually a tourist is in their mind. The remaining are within 30 miles of the venue. And then just to throw some numbers around, we obviously didn't get the same numbers that we had last year. Last year was a pretty solid year. Ice sales, though, we made $1,900. Parking, we made $17,000. Wow. From vendors, we made $26,600. Let's see, electric was $2,800 that we charged for the vendors. Sponsorship, we had $24,000. Parade entries, we had $2,500. Artist merchandise, we made $493. So that was a total of $114,600 is some of the revenues that we saw.
And how does that compare to other years?
The past 2 years have been pretty solid, so that's probably just a step below that. We're not sure if you're never sure if it's, the entertainment you're offering or the weather is such a huge, we think last year, even though we had rain, it was a little bit cooler. So we thought that might be impacted by that. But even the carnival company said that they noticed it was down. But interesting enough, they said that all their shows around the country have been down. So I'm not sure what the reason is for that, but. Jammin' concert, we had roughly about 10,000 attendees over the last 10 weeks. No rainouts, which was awesome. We had a couple hot nights, but no rainouts. Kristen Funderburk, the sponsorships for 2025 were increased by 305%. So she's doing an excellent job with that. We had 11,200 in 2025. Only 3,600 in 2024. Summer send-off, we just got beat up by the rain. It rained early in the morning. It lingered through the event. They wound up shutting it down at 3 p.m. That was just this past weekend. We had about 150 people while we were staying dry. But again, Kristen had 200% sponsorship. She had $3,000 for that event. OTW updates. They're working on Curious Savage. Dine and Discover is Saturday, September 6th. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll be there. They're asking people to attend that to wear 50s hairstyle and hats. I probably won't be doing that, but and I think that's all I have.
Any questions from anybody?
You're not going to wear 50s hairstyle?
No, probably not. I'm just there to eat.
All the boys, their fathers were coming back from World War II, your hair was about that long.
Well, I'm probably pretty close to that.
So at Jammin' this year, I do think it was nice that we didn't have any rainouts, although it was very hot for a couple of those weeks, but it was really, really miserable. But it was really, I think, a really good season, and we had good crowds mostly. Every one of the events draw a pretty good crowd. But I did want to mention that this year it seemed like a lot more people were more interested in the things that we had out on the table to take information. So, I mean, they always come up and get the freebies, but this time they would stop and really look at what we had at the table and give us an opportunity to talk to them about what was coming up and about the parks, and I think that they were a lot more interested. And we talked to more people this year that actually live in this area. A lot of people come from other cities, but we still tell them about the parks and everything that's going on. But it seemed like this year, would you agree with me? We talked to a lot of people that were actually lived in the city of O'Fallon, were interested in what was going on. And we talked to a lot of people who live in the city of O'Fallon, who come to the Jammin' concerts, but they didn't know about a lot of the things that were going on, and they were surprised. So we were able to give them information about how they can find that stuff that they need to know about on the website and things like that. So that was a good opportunity, but I was a little surprised that after coming to Jammin', especially some of the regulars that we talked to, they still didn't know about some of the things going on. So they, you know, and I'm not saying we're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying these people aren't looking in the right places, I think, to find information. They're just not looking for the information. They're just seeing something going on and go, oh, I think I'll go there. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And one of the things that we heard a lot of this year was people saying that what they wanted was they wanted a bigger dance floor. Have you heard that before? Because we had a lot of people tell us that. And it's kind of interesting because everybody gets up and dances, whether there's a dance floor or not, they're still dancing. They're dancing on the grass. They're having a good time no matter what. But we did get a lot of comments about having a bigger dance floor. And other than that, I don't think there was anything else. Keith was at the table with me every week, most weeks.
No, I just wanted to say that there was one of the concert goers came up and they had rented the Krekel Center in July for their mother's 95th birthday, and they had 90 people in the Krekel Center. And she couldn't say anything. All she said was nice things. The fantastic staff that helped with the food. They rented the kitchen part. Whoever the gentleman was that was working that day, how outstanding he was. So the Krekel Center, the word's getting out. For 90 people, in half, she said they only had the kitchen half rented. They didn't have the whole building, both sides rented. So she came right up and talked to us and told us that right up and said how enthused and how appreciative she was and what a nice facility that is.
And she really, really hit hard that she liked the staff. She kept saying that over and over, how good the staff was. Yeah. It was, and I don't know. We don't know who it was. She didn't know the person's name, but she said that he did a really good job. Whoever it was. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Nope. All right. Old business?
No, can't do that.
Oh, can't do old business. We can't do new business.
No, you gotta go to your presentation.
Okay. Presentations. Well, it's path trail priorities. I'm interested in hearing this.
Greenway.
Okay. My name is Chris Clerks. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Capital Improvements Manager here for the Engineering Department for the City of O'Fallon. I appreciate you having me today. We wanted to go through, like you said, the 25 bikeable, walkable priorities. Before I get too far into it, I just want to say that this is going to be very abbreviated. This is a very large conversation, and I'm just trying to hit on some major points and some things like that. And then, I'll have some questions for you here towards the end. You can stop me anytime, but my questions will come towards the end of my presentation. So just kind of some background, because I'm not familiar with how long you guys have all been on the board or anything like that.
Forever.
But some of the background that I've been here since 2013, February 2013, and been very involved with the PATH program and infrastructure, working with the Parks Department and the Recs Department to continue growing our system, which already had a great start, much more than I realized when I got here. When you start looking, there's a really good base to it. But this, you can see the hierarchy or the timeline of kind of where everything started back in 2006 when our population was around 72,000. Conversations were already started, presentations were already starting to be made. Our city comprehensive plan back in 2008 adopted and identified bikeable, walkable plan as a goal to complete. In 2009, bikeable, walkable plan was adopted by council, from my understanding. That was all pre-me, so I'm going by historical data I found. If anything is incorrect, somebody please let me know so I can correct it. But in the things I have been involved with started around 2013. And 2015, we were able to launch the interactive bike walk map, which was the first inventory that I was aware of us having out on our websites for people to utilize. And it was pretty user-friendly at the time. It hasn't been updated in a while, and that's kind of why we're coming back to everything. Obviously, that was 10 years ago. It has been updated to some extent, but not probably as detailed as we want it to be. But it's still a good, useful tool for the base understanding of where our path system really is. And our bike and walk system really is, I should say. So from 2021 through 2023, between 2015 and 2021, 2023, and to now, we've been working on projects. I'll kind of get into that a little bit here. So, it takes time to get all this stuff done. And I just want to point out that I think our current population is somewhere around 95,000, and it's continuing to grow because we see developments coming in every day. So just kind of want to give a quick background. I got to go the right direction in the things here. So this is just this is about 20 bullet points. I'm not going to read each one, but you can see projects that we've completed over the past years, either completed or it's in progress or it's planned down there at the bottom of the sheet. You can see multiple projects have been taken on, completed, and are in the works here. We've got some really exciting things going on right now with path infrastructure, bike and path infrastructure for pedestrians through our parks. Sports Park currently has a design ongoing for Greenway, coordinated with Great Rivers Greenway. We also have our Darden connector, which is over by I-64, down in that little pocket, just to I'd say the north of where Barrett Haven and all that is, or south of Barrett, I can't remember. Either way, it's right there at 64 at Darden Creek. That's where it crosses. That's where our connector is going to be. That is actually starting construction this week. They closed down technology. If you're from that area, you probably knew that.
To get through there the other day, and it was
Yeah, so that's a coordinated effort with MoDOT, because MoDOT's going to take down the Technology Drive Bridge, build it back up to have a new updated bridge that they would have had to get to eventually, but we're able to put a 12-foot shared use path across that, so we are able to traverse across a pretty major barrier that we've been dealing with. You got Wing Haven connectivity and you got Barrett Haven connectivity from two different directions. And then it also connects back into Bluebird right there, or it can get to Bluebird. I think it connects into the Barrett Haven Trail, which is Darden Prairie, but it connects to Bluebird. Our sports park will connect to Bluebird. So it's a very exciting thing, because I know that was being discussed way before I got here. And it took some time, but we finally have a lot of momentum with those projects. Exciting stuff for the city to have our greenways connected through the city at least, and getting into other areas. So just wanted to give a little thing there. One thing I kind of want to just be totally upfront with is what the sheer volume of what we're working with. As the engineering department, as the parks department, as the public works department, as the city as a whole, it's a very large asset. So with this, you can see we've did a kind of a high level inventory a couple of years ago. Actually, it was in 2024 when I had some staff working on this. So you can see where, the bike route, multi-use path. So a multi-use path and a shared use path, they're used very similarly, but a shared use path is usually dedicated to something 10 foot or wider. So you have multiple modes of transportation, whether it's pedestrian, bike, multiple pedestrian, can pass each other much more safely and comfortably than on, say, a 6 foot sidewalk. So anything 10 foot and above is generally called a shared use path. Anything less than 10 foot would be a multi-use path. If you get down to like the 4, 5, 6 foot range, you're generally talking about a sidewalk. Just high level, that's how we look at it. But you can see that the distance in miles that we have just for our current inventory is rather significant, and the subtotal of the asset value is about $150 million. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. On the sidewalks, I do want to point out that just that number does include a lot of different things. You can see we include the park path too, but like the sidewalks, I just wanted to note that currently there's over 6,088 curb ramps throughout the city at a value of a very significant amount of money. So you can kind of see where this is all going probably. So these future improvements here that I'm showing, these were identified high level by staff. It's not the gospel or anything like that. It is up for discussion, and that's why I'm here you guys are kind of the first stop for me to talk to different committees and commissions all the way up to city council and have an understanding of where everybody sits as far as what do you think the needs would be is kind of what we're getting at. But you can see just some identified things that we've come up with for future bike route, greenway, different path sections, sidewalks, blah, 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 $110 million, roughly. So as you can see, as a total asset value for the city, should we build everything that we have been talking about and still having to maintain our existing, is we're looking at $257 million of asset that we have to deal with. So just to put that in perspective, we have a lot of streets and roads obviously here. So the streets and roads is our largest asset as far as we know for the city. We have over 730 lane miles, which is you take one lane. If you have 2 lanes on the road, it's 1 lane going this way and 1 lane going that way. That's a lane mile if you go a mile on each one. So we have over 730 lane miles of roadway. The value of that asset's over $400 million. So we're talking some really big numbers and a lot of work for a lot of different staff members on multiple levels. So just to kind of put that into perspective. And this is what we have for path maintenance, $280,000 roughly per year, which is great. We have been able to do that over the last couple of years. We've been given through the approvals of our city budgets, $200,000 to put towards path maintenance. That can take a lot of different meanings. It can mean strictly maintenance, or it can mean maybe looking into do we need to start looking into sidewalk requests, connectivity things, just focusing on curb ramps. So that's where this conversation gets very big, and I'm just trying to keep it kind of pulled down to a manageable level, because we could spend hours or possibly days trying to figure this out. And we will spend hours and days figuring this out. So with the budget we have at that $280,000, that's typically what our SRIF or our use tax provides to us, and we use that up pretty quickly. But we also have other options that are not included in that $280,000, where we go after East-West Gateway federal funds. We go over St. Charles County, after St. Charles County Road Board funds. There's other miscellaneous state and federal grants that we could look at. All of that takes time to try to get that money. It's not a guarantee either. 9 times out of 10, it's a competitive process to get the federal funding through East-West Gateway in St. Charles County. Typically, the path infrastructure needs to be somehow connected to the roadway, but not always. There's a lot of conversation that can be into that. But generally, we go after them every year. We have been very successful over the years, and we can get those numbers in maybe a future update when we're doing some more specifics to that. So when we're talking about just the cost of doing business and what we have to do as a city, and how our department would develop a project is you're going to have the 3 phases of a project. 9 times out of 10, you're going to need some kind of design. Could depend on if we need easements and or right-of-way to improve anything. And then you have your construction costs. And you can see in that bullet point, I'm not going to read through each one. There's a lot of different factors, and this isn't an end-all be-all list. This is just a high-level one that I'll kind of explain a little bit here in the next slide too. But this is what we have to look at. And I just want to point out that it's not as easy as it looks when you're just driving by and, oh, this would be pretty easy, just drop a sidewalk in there, no big deal. Well, you start looking into it, and it can grow pretty fast. So I want to use an example, and I'm not going to name the specific spot, but we were looking at a request that came to us for about 1,750 lineal foot of sidewalk to be replaced. There's a sidewalk there now, but to replace it with a 10-foot shared use path. And we estimated out at $450,000 just for 1,750 lineal foot. Because you're talking about how the existing sidewalks established and your existing grades and all that kind of stuff. We have residential areas right in that area too. So when you start widening everything out, you get into grade adjustments, possibly utility adjustments, just the sheer volume of pavement that would take, because we generally build our paths and a lot of our bike stuff out of concrete because it's less maintenance. We'd have, a couple $100,000 almost in just the concrete to put down itself. That's not including all this other stuff that I have here. It would generally, in this example, it was about 155 or 160,000 just in the concrete for that section they were requesting us to look at. So as you can see, it gets very expensive very quick. We always have to keep in mind ADA regulations, rules, requirements, things like that. And just trying to tie back into all the areas that are adjacent to these paths can be difficult. Even though it might look flat, it doesn't take much to throw things off to where all of a sudden you got to get 20 feet into somebody's yard or take a fence down or something just because of the grade changes and things like that. So just wanted to point that out. So this is where I get into some of the questions that I want to ask and just get some feedback from you guys as an entity. Like I said, you're my first stop. What would your priorities be? It's kind of an open question for me. I'm looking for feedback. I will start with you guys, and then I'll go to some other committees and commissions, like I said, and go to city council and ask them kind of the same thing, because we're trying to dial in what the city's priority really is, because we have a lot of things going on. We have the Darden Greenways going on, which, in my opinion, since there's so much momentum and it's taken for a while to get there, we want to keep that momentum. So obviously, we're going to finish out those projects. We got federal funds for them, we've got county funds for them, we got GRG funds for them. So we're pretty secured in those. And from all this stuff from the background that I was talking about with the updates and presentations and goals that were set, we've basically covered all the stuff that was established back in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s. So we're looking to establish kind of a new strategic plan. These conversations will be had in the strategic planning with all the departments involved, and try to figure out truly what is our next priorities. Is it, for instance, focus on Highway K? We want something along highway. With their stuff out there on Highway K. Can't say that there isn't, but is it usable? I would say questionable in many areas. Is there connectivity? There's a couple of gaps. Things like that. Bryan Road's the same. Bryan Road's actually in better shape because we actually have connectivity basically from VMP all the way down to Winghaven. So we're looking pretty good there, but it's 6 foot wide, 8 foot wide, 10 foot wide. It's kind of a mismatch of everything. Fisey Road's got a path on it. We're actually going to be doing something on the maintenance side of that for Fisey Road to just like try to keep some preservation to it. So as you saw with the asset value, to just go in and replace everything is not feasible with the 280,000 we've got. So we're using what we have, and we're actually touching an area down South K near Monticello with some a thin layer of asphalt to just kind of freshen it up after we repair some of the spots down there. So we'll be touching down there by Monticello. We'll be touching Fisey path, and we're hoping to get Mexico Road path addressed with just a thin layer just to kind of help it out a little bit, clean up some of the really bad spots, and make it a better system. But it's not going to fix everything. It's not going to touch everywhere. That's the problem. So that's kind of where it comes down to what's our priority. You know, all these bullet points as far as does it want to be new connectivity in areas that you guys, you know, we always think about of where can we connect to. Obviously, we want to think about outside the city and connecting to other cities too, because of just general regional connectivity with St. Charles County as a whole. We talk with them on a regular basis to try to figure out how we can develop the coordination and planning for that. So it's a very broad question, and you know, this is kind of the bullet points that I threw out there. If there's anything else that you guys have in mind as a bullet point, I'd be happy to talk through it. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on the bike-specific infrastructure. It's the kind of the least amount of what we have. We do have about, I think you said 21 miles or something like that for bike infrastructure, 16, somewhere in there. So the South Bike Loop has been built for a long time, and it is used. I see people out there. But, you know, there's not been much maintenance to it. So what's that look like? You know, just trying to maintain that pavement or striping or whatever. You know, we do have a bike lane out there on West Terra. West Terra's roadway actually surface is kind of starting to fall apart, which means the bike lane's starting to fall apart. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. A lot of infrastructure, a lot of asset value, and, you know, it's what's the priority for the city, because we have a lot of roads that we're still trying to work on to catch up with, you know, where people drive every day, and the comments and work orders that we have that come in from that, just with the sheer volume of roads that still need to be addressed too. And that's a lot of money gets already put towards that. So I'm just kind of here to open it up for questions. Yeah, there, I was right.
Question.
I know that was a lot, so.
I know that you have an interest in this.
I've got questions. All right, thanks for being here. I
No problem.
believe you were at the Renard Center when we did the Dardine Greenway.
I did not make it
didn't
down
make
there
it.
that night, but I
Your
did
staff was there.
I had a project, yes, I had my staff, Darden, Great Rivers Greenway was down there. We had MoDOT representatives, and I think County had a representative there too, if I
Okay.
remember right. So
Yeah, that was fantastic presentation. That gave a lot of information, and I've actually been able to walk that a couple of times around that subdivision there.
Okay.
Which I guess one of my first question is do you make a determination between somebody who's going to actually use this for transportation around the city, or is it just going to be, I'm going to walk after dinner around my subdivision? How do you guys factor that?
So that's a good question, and in all honesty, I think that's all part of the priority, and it's different users is what it is, because there are people that, you know, when I started working on this, I guess my mentality went to I want somebody to be able to go from 79 down to 64, and now we're even further south than 64 now because we're expanding down that southwest side. So if someone, for instance, someone wanted to go from Civic Park and ride a bike or walk or run or whatever down to O'Day, I want to get them there. That's kind of my mentality. If someone wants to go somewhere, I want to get them there. At the same time, I also had in my mentality, and this is just me talking out loud, but I want that mom or dad who needs to push a stroller to Fritz's to get ice cream, they can make it and feel safe. So there's different users. We understand that. There's also the aspect now that's coming up with the golf carts and ATVs and things like that, you know, which
Oh, yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation. Again, we could spend days and hours talking about this. But we have to think about all of that with what we're going to do. Putting a 10-foot shared use path out somewhere looks like a lane of traffic if it's done a certain way, and people use it, unfortunately. Utilities seem to use it all the time whenever they're doing something. They're parked right on top of all of our sidewalk path and whatever else. So that's an ongoing maintenance issue, but we do have permitting processes that help protect it now a little bit better. So it's a tough, loaded question.
Where do you come up with a road that's shared with bicycles? There was no breakdown on that necessarily? Every road can be used by a bicycle, but to me, that's not always safe.
And again, that's the users that you were talking about. So there are the avid bicyclists that will share the road or share the lane on the roadway. People use Cave, people use Deer Road, people use whatever. Those are your avid bicyclists. Then you have a big group of people that are just novice bicyclists. They like their bike, they want to get somewhere, but they're not going to ride out on Highway K, which I wouldn't either. But so the 10-foot shared use paths are for that larger group of bicyclists, like your mom and dad taking their kids out for a ride at night or something. The avid bicyclists should be staying on the roadway. Now, that being said, they can get on the path because there's a shift. What we've been seeing is, like before, it was there needs to be a dedicated bike lane protected for the bicyclist no matter what, and then there needs to be shared use path. Well, then you're talking about roadways that get very wide very quickly, which just increases everybody's asset costs and maintenance issues. Right-of-way needs get very expensive very quickly. So there seems to be a shift where the 10-foot shared use path, say a 10 or a 12-foot shared use path, is generally going to be used by bicyclists more common than before. Okay. Like they're shifting them, they're building it to where the bicyclists would be on the 10-foot shared use path now instead of in the road.
And that's just municipalities in general, or?
I think it's more of, in this general area, like a mentality shift because they realized what was going, and I don't know this for sure, but this is just what I've seen. We're talking St. Charles County. St. Louis County still puts in dedicated bike lanes in a lot of areas. I think they're built a little bit differently than we are, with the smaller communities all down in that area. But yeah, they still have major roadways. So in the end, we've kind of shifted away from doing dedicated bike infrastructure on a roadway as far as like dedicated bike lanes at this time, because the 10-foot can handle that.
Okay.
For the larger group.
No, that I agree with that. That I don't like. I would never ride on the street. I've done it. Mm-hmm. Highway K, yeah, no way. There's no way. Yeah.
No
Even
way.
through my subdivision, I'm cautious going through the subdivision, Feisty and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, thanks. You put a lot of effort into it, and I appreciate that. And to have staff involved in that and thinking about this is fantastic.
Yeah, as far as the residential developments, though, they're 26-foot wide. They're supposed to be 25 mile an hour. They're kind of what's considered like what I've heard in the industry, a terminology of like a quiet street, unless it's one of your major thoroughfares where you have all the traffic. But on the side streets that that aren't those, generally you can ride on those pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, once you get to the more major collectors in your arterials, it gets a little bit more tricky. Yep.
I'm an avid biker. I would like nothing better than to be able to get on my bike and never get in my car the whole summer. I'd like to, if I want to go anywhere in O'Fallon, I'd like to be able to bike there. Mm-hmm. And I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I'm getting anywhere near K Street on my bike.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just not
Get
doing
on Highway
I am not doing that. It is
Yeah.
absolutely
Well, even-
insane.
Even the new
I mean,
path
even
you
on-
guys built there is fantastic, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go from my house to City Hall, at any time of the day, and I just can't, I'm not safe doing that. Yeah, I know, I would, but that's what I would like to do, and I would like to be able to take my bike and go to the Katy Trail, and I'd like to go to Cotterville. I'd like to,
Yeah.
that's my dream of what this is gonna be like at some point in time.
Yeah.
That's what my particular interest is just, and I'm not one of those speed bikers that goes and does races. I just get on my little bike and, and I just pedal around and,
Yeah.
and at my speed, my own speed,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and I know sometimes when I'm on my bike, I pass some of these bikers that are like, they're serious bikers.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah. And there's a lot of them. You go up
There are a
on.
lot of them.
They're
Well,
up
they're,
on St.
I
Matthews.
admire them.
We have a.
They're up and down St. Matthews
Yeah.
all the time, and you can't get around them.
Yeah.
And St. Matthews is horrible.
Yeah, we have a project on Deer Road. We're reconstructing Deer Road in coordination with the county, and that's where this shift kind of first surfaced for me, because it was a 3-lane roadway. It had dedicated bike lanes going both directions, and then it had a 10-foot shared use path on one side and a 6-foot sidewalk on the other. Well, you're talking about a really big road. And after discussions, and we had public meetings, and we were able to, respond to a lot of the comments we got of why do you need that much room? And that's when I first heard of this kind of shift of moving the larger group of bicyclists, just let them use the 10-foot shared use path, get them off the road. Avid bicyclists are going to stay on the road and do what they want to do or do what they need to do. And that was, like I said, that was probably a year and a half ago I heard that for the first time. And that seems like in this general area is kind of what's happening. You're kind of shrinking your roadway, not shrinking the roadway because like you still have to move the volume of cars that you're trying to move on the roadway. So we're still doing that with what we're going to do to Deer Road, but we have the 10-foot shared use path, but we got rid of the 6-foot sidewalk on the other side. It got really, really big.
Yeah, but they take up the whole road on St. Matthew where you can't drive up and down it. They won't move, they won't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's ignorant.
Yeah, I don't know all the rules to that.
In and out of your house
Yeah.
on St. Matthew, you can't because here comes the bicycle guys, here comes the golf carts, here comes the ATVs. You can't get in and out. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on golf carts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's
And
just
it's-
something we have to keep in mind as we
Yeah.
move forward with this and in some of the projects we have and all that and other communities that might handle things a little bit differently than us. So there's some challenges to this as a whole, besides the fact that there's just not enough money to go around. There's a lot of other ancillary things that we have to consider. Yep.
I did want to ask, you said originally the three things that you start with, and you start with design. Is that do you do that?
We do not design in-house, not typically. For the engineering department, we generally go out and we have a consultant, a design consultant, working with us for most projects. There are some things we could maybe get involved with where we don't have to have a full design, but most of the time when it comes to ADA, you want someone that does it every day, designs it, stamps it, seals it, the risk is on them. That's generally the first start. Yep.
Thank you. Do you guys have anything else you're going to ask?
If you're asking just strictly about priorities of your list, to me, maintaining what you have is always top priority. I can't, it's illogical to me to allow anything you currently have to just decline, degrade. So I would always place maintenance at the top of my list.
Yeah.
I'm like some of my compatriots, I guess. Making new paths, spending money to make new paths for golf carts is kind of at the very bottom of my list.
And that's the thing is we wouldn't be making them for golf carts. We're making them for bike and ped.
Yeah.
That's who I'm making them for. I'm not making them personally. Personally, I'm not making them for golf carts. But according to our policy, I believe that if you read it, unless it's signed, I think they can be on it. If you say no authorized, I believe that's how it's written. I'd have to look back at it. But if it says no motorized vehicles on it, then they shouldn't be on it. If you don't sign it, they have the right to be on it.
Okay.
But enforcement becomes a whole nother problem
Right,
because the PD's busy doing other stuff.
right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about this as you keep continuing on and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's probably the next steps for me, if there's not any more, comments or conversation, we go on with our next couple of presentations, get some more feedback, and then it becomes a strategic planning thing to try to figure out exactly what the priorities are, and then we can come back with, kind of what the results are of what our recommendation would be to all of these same groups, and get feedback again, make sure everything is good to go, and then start moving forward with accomplishing those goals.
Now, are you going to try to get feedback from the general public, the general residents in O'Fallon, as far as some kind of a public meeting?
I think that is potentially something we could look at doing. That would probably be part of the whole strategic planning side of it and see how that goes. Because, I know the Parks and Rec, they do a lot of public engagement with things like that. So maybe that does probably become a piece of it. We just haven't really got too far into it. Yep.
Thank you. Anything else?
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the next presentation, health and fitness presentation. Jenny Davidson. Health and fitness, oh me.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me see if I can pull this up here. So my name is Jenny Davidson. I'm one of the recreation specialists at the Renaud, and my areas are fitness and kids corner. But I'm going to talk to you tonight about the fitness center and my team that I have. So just a little bit about me briefly. I have about 20 years working in fitness. I had a brief stint as a litigation paralegal, and that just was not for me. So fitness has been where I have spent the last 20 years. I've worked for major health clubs and in corporate fitness, and now I'm at the Renaud. So just going to talk a little bit about what we got going on there, I think. Click the arrow. We're clicking that.
Come on, John, help her. Help her, John.
Help me out here, because the presentation's good. I'm not the best speaker, but I have some good stuff. Click, click, click. Everybody wants to go off, John.
I know it's starting to get quiet here.
So maybe it wasn't me. Oh, okay. Okay. I do like that picture of myself, though, so. So just a little bit about my role. It's planning, coordinating, and delivering fitness programs. I manage the group fitness instructors and personal trainers, supervise and support the gym attendant staff. We work on ensuring safety and program quality, and we collaborate on wellness initiatives. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So meeting our team. Together, we provide weekly group fitness classes, personal training sessions. Those are one-on-one, partner, and small group. Specialized programs, which would be silver sneakers, weight room orientations, youth and adult, which I'll cover a little bit more of. And then our gym attendants are there for friendly, safe, and clean workout space. So we have a team of 22 group instructors who together offer 53 classes every week. Our schedule is diverse, covering cardio, strength, and flexibility formats to meet a variety of member needs. We also, as I mentioned, run specialized programs like Silver Sneakers, which focus on keeping older adults active and engaged. We currently have 5 personal trainers. We're looking to add another one to our team. But they're all highly skilled, nationally certified, and those certifications, they are required to renew that every 2 years, so they have to keep up with continuing education, which allows them to just stay current and on top of the new trends, as well as learn additional specialties that they might be interested in or they see a need for. They offer both 30 and 60-minute sessions. And training options include one-on-one coaching, partner sessions, and we have small group dynamic training, which can be up to 5 members at a time with the trainer. And that just gives plenty of variety for members to choose the style of training that fits their goals and their budget. We currently have 15 gym attendants, and when I'm hiring the gym attendants, I'm looking for friendly, welcoming faces. We've really been working up there on being more engaging and trying to make sure they're moving around in the fitness center and starting conversations. I want them to be getting to know the members. With all the new faces that I have up there, I want members to get to know the gym attendants' names as well. So they work on just helping keeping the fitness center clean. And they also oversee the gymnasium and keeping track of the aerobics studio and just making sure that that stays neat and tidy as well. So some little fitness metrics here for you. The average monthly attendance for our group exercise classes, we average 2,500 class participants every month. So I have our instructors just keep track, and we have a log sheet where they count the members, so we maybe even miss a few. It might be even a little slightly higher than that, but that's over those 52 weekly classes that we have. And I think that's because of the strong variety of classes that we have, and it has a lot to do with the instructors. Most of them have been with the Renaud Center, some of them since the Renaud opened, but we don't have a high turnover for our fitness instructors, which, having worked in the industry for so long, that's not very common. So I think that's amazing that we have such a consistent team and they want to stay there. They're not looking to go somewhere else. So something I'm very proud of is the youth weight room orientations. To date in 2025, we have completed 70, and that's up from a total of 38 that we did in 2024. So that's just showing a huge interest that the youth have in learning about the fitness center and just wanting to be up there. So those youth weight room orientations are for ages 12 to 15. So they attend a class and they have to pass a test in order to successfully be welcomed into the fitness center. They wear wristbands so that we can identify and be on the lookout for them and assist them a little bit more too as they continue learning while they're up there. But it's just awesome of how many of them come up that, you know, maybe haven't gone through the weight room orientation. They just are so excited to be up there. And it's just nice to be able to tell them, hey, you know, here's how you can learn more. Sign up for this class that we have. We'll teach you, and we'll be there to continue to guide you.
What's the age range for that?
That is 12 to 15. Yeah, and we have so many of them, as soon as they turn 12, like, they want to sign up and be there. And then their younger siblings, as soon as they're old enough, they're right there along with them. So it's fantastic, really.
I thought when they were that young, when they're 12-year-olds, you could injure their joints if they were utilizing weights, but that's not, their joints are developed enough that's not so.
Well, what we're teaching them up there with the weight room orientation is we show them the selectorized machines. So we don't introduce them much to the free weight area, but for the most part, that age range, if they have started to go through puberty, then they would be at a place where they could start to successfully and safely strength train. My recommendation would be if you're a youth, I would want my youth to have a trainer and work, but that's not ideal for everyone. So this is a great way to get them started and to keep that enthusiasm going. Personal training packages, so far in 2025, we've sold 141 packages, and we're on track to well exceed 2024's total of 199. So our trainers are staying busy. And again, we are looking to add another one to our team. This is just some fun photos of our instructors and trainers, and just a little bit on the silver sneakers that we offer, and highlighting the small group training as well. So some specs on the fitness center, most of you probably know, but we do have a indoor track, which is 1/10 of a mile. So if you take 11 laps around that, you're gonna hit a mile. 40 plus cardio machines, beautiful free weight area, selectorized strength machines, and plate loaded equipment. So of course, pulled some pictures of that for you too. And then my next slide, I'm very excited about some new equipment that's coming. So we have 2 new Octane rowers. Our rowers get used a lot, and we're looking to replace them with the Octane, which is one of the features on the Octane rower is that there's a simple button for the members to push to add resistance to it. It's going to make people who are seasoned rowers are going to enjoy it so much more. But if you're new to rowing, one of the most challenging things is just being able to control the resistance on the row machine. And the Octane rowers just have some new features for that. We're an alpine runner incline trainer. We do already have an incline trainer, but it's quite popular, so we're adding another one. Incline training is becoming kind of a new, like an old trend that's become new again. So we're adding an additional one of that, swapping out some of the treadmills that have extensive wear to them from the mileage. We're able to track the mileage on them, so we're going to be swapping out 2 and getting 2 new ones. Recumbent ellipticals, basically that just means the elliptical with just a nice seat, which gives some additional options. Ski erg, that is a new machine that we'll have in our free weight area, which will kind of allow those who are using the rowers to move to the ski erg, and kind of have a vision for being able to set up little circuits for not only the trainers to use, but for the members to be able to move from pieces of equipment that flow together. A glute blaster, which is essentially a hip thrust machine, which is a plate-loaded piece of equipment that has been highly requested by both male and female members. And then the SciFit, we get countless requests for a new step, or the SciFit, which is used a lot for patients who are rehabbing from cardiac surgeries or ortho replacements. And the new SciFit that we're getting will also have a pedaling option to it, whereas the one we have now is just an upper body resistance one. So, and again, that's just based on what the members have been requesting from us for that. And this is just some photos of that new equipment, just to give you a visual of what those items are going to look like. So again, just some key takeaways. Just our fitness center and staff strive to promote community health and wellness. We're engaging the youth through those supervised weight room orientations. We're welcoming more individuals for whether they're training for a specific goal or just starting out. Our trainers are helping out there, and offering senior-focused workout classes that just promote wellness and accessibility. And fitness just brings people together. When we move together, we grow together. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Questions? No? I was surprised about the youth training, weight training program, because I've been going to the gym, and I've seen several younger people there, and they do have quite the enthusiasm, but I was just surprised because they're so young. I didn't know that I'm glad to hear that you have a training program for them, and that they
Yes.
know what they're doing once they get into the equipment area. And I also noticed when I was there one day that there was a group of volunteers there doing cleaning, and they were so cute and so helpful. And they had a professional with them, working with them, and they were just looking like they were very happy, and they were very useful. So I was happy to see there was that particular group of volunteers there. That was nice. I haven't really seen a lot of other people on the floor like you were talking about, in just engaging with people, workers engaging with people. Although I work with a personal trainer, and she's great. And I'm enjoying that whole process. And I'm a little concerned about are these new equipment, all this new equipment, is that going to fit into the area? It seems like right now you're pretty much, all of the area is pretty much used up.
So the cardio pieces that we're getting, we will be removing pieces that either, like I said, we've been able to track the mileage on them and the wear and tear on them. So those will be removed out. So the cardio equipment that we're getting is going to be a swap for pieces that are starting to either have excessive mileage on it or showing some wear to it. The ski erg machine is going to go in the free weight area. It's a very small, not going to take up much space for that. And we did bring in an outside, Ace Fitness came in connection with Life Fitness and True Fitness to look at the space that we have, and to ensure that what we have will go in and not disrupt the flow of things, but will actually add to things. So hopefully
Well, I'm glad that there's a lot of thought process going into that, because it seems like it's pretty full now. I am impressed with the variety of people that go there, because I did notice the younger people there, but there's a lot of seniors, and there's a lot of just, all different age groups there, which I really appreciate, and I'm glad, because people are everybody's using it, and that's really, I think, what it should all be about. So that's really nice, and I didn't notice any particular group of people or any one age group that wasn't just as comfortable as the other being there. So I think that's really nice, because when you go to a lot of gyms, sometimes it's like one age group, and it's not always the most comfortable environment if you're an older person or a younger person. So
Right.
I think it's very, very nice and comfortable there. So
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And just to follow up on your question about the youth, I would like to see that youth weight room orientation have a phase 2 and a phase 3, where you complete phase 1, and that allows you access to, the selectorized machines that are a little bit safer. And I'd like to see the free weight area be an additional training that they go through to where we can ensure that they have some more training on those plate-loaded pieces that are a little bit more difficult and, might be a little bit more cause for injury if they weren't handling those properly. But those are just some visions that I have of taking that program to a phase 2, phase 3, as long as, and I think there would be interest in it as well.
So I have a question too about space, because that's a concern I have is I spend a lot of time stretching beforehand, and it's always tough to find space in there to stretch. There's competition space because there is so little. Is there any way to move things around and gain a little more room for stretching?
We can certainly factor that in. I will not, that area that we're right now in the back corner where there's like the stability valves and stuff, we do not plan to cover that area up or fill that space right now, because the trainers do use that area a lot too. And it is just a space where people will just go to. I've seen people over there just practicing their own yoga. So ideally, it'd be nice to have a section specific for that with foam rollers and, stretching blocks and straps too. That would be fantastic. And when we have our shutdown week coming up, or we, kind of move things around, that's something that we can certainly factor into, moving the layout a little bit too. So I'm with you, and I think that that's very important, that there's plenty of space for mobility and flexibility. So
A lot of competition for it. So
yes, we won't take it away from you. Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Jenny. Great presentation.
Thank you. John, I don't know how to close that out. Not going to lie.
I got one question.
Oh, sorry, we have a question.
I don't know if you can see me or not. What, is there an certain age before the youth can work out without adult supervision? And do they have to have the weight orientation before they can use them?
Yes, so even with an adult supervision, if they are between the age of 12 and 15, they still have to go through the weight room orientation. So even if they had a parent with them, we still need them to go through that program in order to be in the fitness center.
Perfect, thanks.
Anything
you,
else
guys.
over there? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good of the order. Anybody have anything they want to add, or?
good meeting. I'm sorry, it wasn't official.
I think it was a good meeting. You have anything you want to add? All right. Yeah, I'm cold too. Okay, so we are concluding this meeting for the Parks and Rec Board for August 12th, 2025. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
Did a good job, Teresa.
She is great. Nice training
It is.
session.